Adam and Charlie combine their skills to turn a dank, unloved space into a relaxing garden. Who doesn't love a good pampering? Well, Melissa's got a way to send your plants to the day spa too.
Oh, I should have thrown more of these pebbles in the river. These are heavy. Am I just chucking them down here for a path?
No, we're planning things. We don't just chuck them in.
Oh, goodness gracious me, it sounds very professional.
It is. So this area over here is pretty useless. There's an awkward corner. So I'm thinking a nice big chunky bench seat from you. I can do a path, some stepping stones and plant it out.
It sounds all organised.
Yes, it is.
That means I just have to build the bench seat.
You do, and I need to start clearing out.
All right, I'll speak to you later. All right, onto the bench seat. Now, we want it to have a high-end look, be easy to build and not cost too much. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm about to show you. And it all starts with this 70 by 45 treated pine. I'm going to use this as the main frame, and I'll start by cutting it up to size. For the frames, the size is 385 by 330. Make it a little bit easier to put these together. Basically, the tip, just make sure you pre-drill all your holes before you screw it in. Oh, Charlie.
Hello.
Jeepers, what's going on here? My goodness, you're taking over, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Now, I'm trying to build a bench for you. Jeez. Maybe just make it a little bit smaller next time. Unbelievable. Oh, not one, but two. Another one. Come on, guys. With the frames complete now, we need to work out what we're going to clad it with. And we've decided to go with some hardwood sleepers. Not only are you going to get great colours coming out of the timber, but it's going to give it a rustic look, and it's definitely going to be a solid structure at the end of the garden. And also, using hardwood will be more durable. Yeah, we'll just need to start cutting them to size. So the way this is going to work, we've got our frame. We need two sleepers going across, two coming down, two down the other side. So that's going to be 6 at 1.8 metres long. Then I want to enclose the side. So I'll need 4 at 400 mil. Now, if we look at these hardwood sleepers, you'll see that they're rough sawn, and this is going to be a seat. So we want it to be nice and comfortable. So I'm going to use a planer. And I'll go around the edges and arras them. What does that mean? It just means we're taking off this sharp edge. Then I'll use my belt sander, and I'll go over the whole lot, and that will really smooth things out. And that will be a lot more comfortable to sit on. And that is all our parts prepared. And I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely powering through this build. Surely Charlie's not going as good as me.
With the clear out complete, you can start to see the space we're working with. The first thing I want to do though is get this fence painted. It's a delightful hat colour. Doesn't make the best backdrop to a garden though. I'm also putting in some garden edging that's going to stop the grass growing into our new area and give us an area for our pathway. Now, before we get to Adam's delightful bench, I thought I'd do some work with some pebbles as a feature. Now, I want these to stand out and really draw you into the garden. So the way I'm going to do it is I've got a base tile. That's just a ceramic tile that I've flipped upside down, but I've cut some tile edging around, and then I'm going to be laying my pebbles in there to create a nice feature. I'm using a glue to keep our pebbles in place. Now, this is an all-purpose indoor-outdoor tile glue, and I've gone for a powder so I can make the consistency quite thick so your pebbles don't fall over. And then as you go, you'll be placing your pebbles in. Now, try and keep the top of the pebbles clean, because when you come to clean them off later, it's going to make it much easier. I'm going to wish I did the bench seat. Now all we need to do is leave that to set. To fill in the gaps, I'm just using a grout. Now, you could have a contrasting colour, but I've gone for black to match the pebbles. And it is a bit of a messy job because the gaps are so big, so I'm using gloves because we've got a coloured oxide. I don't want to be scrubbing my hands for days afterwards. It's quite enjoyable, actually, just
So
working
I'll tell
into
you
all
what,
the gaps.
Charlie, I don't know what's going on out here,
Yeah.
but I'm smashing it out there.
Are you? What have you done?
Frame's complete.
Yeah.
Feeling a little bit peckish. I was just wondering, what's for lunch? Is this a mud cake for me or something?
Have a go at this. It's quite good fun, actually. It's nice.
Is it very pretty?
It really is.
Sleepers. Hey, look at that. You wait till you see. You wait till you see this bench seat, mate. You're gonna love it.
Am I?
Put our garden bench seat together. I'm starting with the top sleepers, but what I've done is flipped them upside down. These are hardwood sleepers and they do weigh a little bit. So to make it easier, you get the light frame and you bring it over instead of trying to lift the sleepers up onto the frame. And also, we want to have hidden fixings, so this way I can simply just pre-drill my hole and screw it off. Now, I'm going to start with the two outside frames. You just want to make sure that you stay in that 50 mil, because remember, we do have some sides coming down, and then centre the centre one and screw it off with some bugle screws. Oh, look at that. This is starting to come together. Beautiful. Now we're ready to attach the sides, which are done exactly the same way. I'll be coming through the back of the frame, so it's hidden fixings. But you will notice the first piece that I'll put on is actually not as wide because I've taken the 50 mil thickness of the seat off. That way, these lines continue all the way around. And to finish it off, I'm just adding some feet at the bottom to keep it off the ground. That way, this frame won't rot out. And the final touch is to go over the whole lot with an external clear coat. It's in a marine grade, so it's going to be extra durable, last a long time. But I tell you what, look at that colour. It just pops. Absolutely beautiful.
It's a wide world. It's an open, wide world. Oh, have you been hurt?
Now, this is a bit of an awkward space in the garden. It's this odd corner where not much else happens. So having a destination in the form of Adam's bench makes use of the whole space. We've prepared a bit of a landing for him, and in front of it will be our stepping stones. But I love the fact that the fence has completely disappeared by painting it, and in front of it, we've just got water houses. This is going to form a really lovely green screen and a backdrop for the rest of our planting. For the planting scheme, I'm combining native plants and exotic plants. Well, why not? There's no rule saying it's got to be strictly one or the other. The one thing you do want to watch out for if you are combining the two is the plants in the Proteaceae family. That's things like Banksias and Grevilleas. You want to keep those in their own garden bed. But here we've got Westringia and I'm combining it with lavender. Now, the benefits of doing this is obviously we get the fragrance by the bench seat, but they're both like the same water requirements and the same sun. So they'll grow perfectly together.
Ah, Charlie, this is looking a little bit different.
It's looking nice, isn't it?
I do have a favour to ask.
Okay.
Could you help me carry this heavy bench seat into place?
Okay.
But if that was actually easier than what I thought. I thought I was going to have to persuade you with something.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to get you to help me move some steppers in a minute. So it's
I saw that
tit
coming.
for tat.
All right. I'm just glad you're going backwards.
Yeah, me too. Careful, plants. Are you spinning or am I spinning?
Yeah, you go over there.
How are we going to put it down?
1, 2, 3, drop.
Don't make me laugh.
You go first. You go first.
I always got your back. I always got your heart. We go back and forth, somehow we never fall apart. Loved you more than once, loved you more than twice. Doesn't make a difference. I know we are.
Okay, are we lining up with this?
Yep.
Deep down, you like a switch, don't you?
Nice.
I'm calling out to you. I'm calling out to you, yeah. I wanna be to your sunshine, baby, yeah. I'm running back to you.
Is this the final pebble path?
It is the finishing touches.
Get it done. Get her down. Well, actually, can I take a bag of these to the back to the river if you got some left over?
What, for skimming?
Yeah. Look at that one. Oh, perfectly flat. You know how many bounces I'd get out of that?
You flick the switch, don't you know? Yeah, I'm calling out to you. I'm calling out to you, yeah. I want a piece of your sunshine, baby.
Oh, lads, how good is this?
That's
a nice destination at the bottom of the garden now.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I'm not going to lie. Look, I was a bit disappointed when you took the pebbles off me this morning, but I can see why.
Yeah.
It's all come to life.
But the hero is this bench seat. I absolutely love it. The chunky size, perfect for this garden.
It is nice and solid structure. Come sit back, relax once this starts growing up.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, good. We just need, I don't know, a cup of tea, coffee.
Just have a relax.
Yeah.
You don't mind, you don't mind if I have a...
Oh, Charlie, go, mate. What's going on?
When I'm feeling a little bit flat, my go-to is a good, strong cup of coffee. But sometimes our potted plants need a refresh too, just to keep them looking really good. And now is the perfect time to do it. Have you ever been out and watered your potted plants and then come back later and scrape the surface of the soil and seen that it's completely dry underneath? So what's happened is it's rolled off the surface and not been absorbed. Now, some potting mixes over time, and of course some of our garden soils, can become what's called hydrophobic, which means they begin to repel water, completely the opposite of what we want for our plants. So if you see that happening at home, it's a clear sign that you need a wetting agent. So what a wetting agent does is helps to break down that waxy coating that's formed on the potting mix or soil and allows the water to physically penetrate the mix. Plants in pots also dry out quicker than your garden soil. So if your potting mix doesn't already contain them, and the good ones do, then you might want to add some water-storing crystals to the mix. So normally you would mix them through the soil or through your potting mix at planting time. But what do you do when you've got an existing potted plants like this that you just feel need a little bit of a lift? Well, here's a really cool tip. So get your hands on a chopstick, or I've used pencils, knitting needles, and you poke some holes into the soil in and around your potted plants, and then you quite simply sprinkle some of the water-storing crystals down the holes. So water-storing crystals are magic little things. They sit in the soil, and then when it rains or water is applied, they swell up to hundreds of times their own weight in water. So I call them like little underground water tanks. They're like a backup supply of water for your plants. Of course, the other challenge with our potted plants is that nutrients can be quite quickly leached from the mix. So if you want to keep them looking good, then I would be liquid feeding with a ready-to-use liquid fertiliser like this every 2 weeks. So this one is so simple to use. It's got all the nutrients that your plants need to flourish, plus it's boosted with magnesium and iron for lush, deep green growth, and it's got some seaweed in there for overall health and improved resistance to pest and disease. And here's the classic. How many of you have gone out and bought a plant in a good old plastic pot, and years later, months later, it's sitting there still looking like this and a little bit worse for wear? Well, you would be surprised at what a difference repotting it into a really good quality potting mix can make. It can really bring that plant back to life. When you start with the best, you really do bring out the best in your plants. When it comes to your potted garden, Scott's Osmocote Premium Plus Potting Mix really is the best of the best. So it contains everything that your plants need for happy, healthy growth. And it's also got lots of added goodies in there. So you'll find it's got things like growth stimulants, which help to promote strong root development, which of course in turn leads to healthier, happier plants. Then remember those wetting agents and water storing crystals we talked about earlier? Well, they're in the mix as well. And like all the Scott's Osmocote potting mixes, it also contains Osmocote controlled release fertiliser. So see these little balls in the mix? They're pretty clever little things. So what they do is the smart release technology only releases nutrients when the soil temperature and the moisture conditions are just right and the plants are actively growing. And they'll feed your plants for up to 6 months. I am guessing that this plant is going to be pretty root bound, so let's take a little look. Yes, just as I predicted. So in this instance, I would just kind of get rid of any of the old potting mix. I'm going to break up those roots a little so they're not so root bound, and then clean up this foliage. And remember, there's a Scott's Osmocote potting mix for every plant type, from cacti and succulents to roses, gardenias and azaleas. So pick the mix that's tailor-made for your plant type and you'll be amazed by the results. See, this one's looking better already. If, like me, you enjoy combining different plants together in containers like this to form beautiful potted combos, then here's some tips to help keep them looking good long term. So when I put potted combos like this together at home, they look good for months on end. And then I might come out one day and think, oh, the plants have grown and the pot's looking a bit overcrowded. So that's when I would do one of two things. I would either get in there and remove some of the plants, put them in the garden, to give the rest of the plants more room to grow. Or I might even get in there with the secateurs and just trim some of those plants back to keep them in check. I also think that refreshing your potted combos at this time of year provides you with just a great opportunity to create a whole new spring look. So, for example, you might get in there and dig out this sun-loving fuchsia at the front and again, put it into the garden, and you might replace it with something like this beautiful osteospermum, which comes in sunset colours. Just have a look at the difference it makes when I get this plant in there. So see how that is a whole new look. Or, if you want something brighter, you might replace it with something like a kalanchoe like this. Isn't that just gorgeous? So with these simple tips, your pot collection could be the highlight of your garden.
Vintage artworks are the hottest way to add character and instant charm to your home. But because they're so popular, it's becoming really hard to find ones that suit your style in op shops. But what if I told you that you could get the look of an oil painting from any print from your home computer? I've printed this stunning landscape off the internet and I've chosen a beautiful frame for it to go in. I've got a piece of MDF that fits perfectly in the frame and I've sealed it with some Mod Podge, and then I'm going to use another layer of Mod Podge to stick the print down. You might not realise it, but there are thousands of free images on the internet. You just need to search open access or public domain images and you'll find lots of copyright-free artworks. You can also search some of the big museum websites. They have great resources on there as well. Now, I think that's about enough Mod Podge. You want a pretty thick coat of the glue and it's ready to go on. You want to make sure the edges are all stuck down really well and then leave it to dry for about an hour. Now that's dry, I'm going to add another thinner coat to seal the paper. And once that's dry, I can add another coat for texture. Now for the fun part where you get to be creative. This artwork here is an original oil painting, and you can see the way the light hits it, all the different brush strokes that the artist has used. And that is what we're going to recreate on our artwork. I'm using Mod Podge again, and you want to apply it fairly thickly this time because we want to create those layers and that thickness. But you will need different size brushes to get that effect. So you just want to channel your inner impressionist artist and enjoy the process without fear of failing, because you can't. You'll see I'm applying the Mod Podge fairly thickly, and I'm allowing it to pool in certain sections, and using the different size brush heads makes a big difference too. Gives you that true layering effect. And once you're happy, you can allow it to dry, but the beauty of this is that you can keep coming back, and if you need more texture in certain sections, like these clouds here, you can go over it again. The beauty of this is that you can take it a step further to give it an aged patina. Often with those old oil paintings, they were coated with shellac, which can yellow. So I'm using this dark timber wax over the top of these sweet little pears, which I've already applied the Mod Podge to. So it's got that beautiful texture. And now this will just give it that lovely dark look that those old oil paintings have.
I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the money, honey. I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the money, honey. I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the money, honey.
How beautiful do these look? Now, having sophisticated artworks that coordinate with any decor is not that tricky. Plus, you can follow in the brushstrokes of your favourite artists.